Hello dear friends, welcome to online study. So today we are going to read our next poem, A Legend of Northland by Phoebe Carey. Okay, so let's start. So let's have an introduction of this poem. Okay, so A Legend of the Northland is a ballad. A ballad is a poem narrating a story in short stanzas. Okay, first of all, you should know that what is ballad. Ballad is a literary device. Okay, so you will come to know that what is ballad. Ballad is what? Ballad is a poem narrating a story in short stanza. It is a poem, but it is narrating in a stanza. Ballad is such kind of poem which tells a story in short stanzas, and in the poem all the stanzas comprise 4 lines. Actually, it is a kind of a story, but it is written in a stanzas. Okay, and all stanzas are written in 4 lines. Okay, in total there are 16 stanzas in this poem, and these stanzas will tell us a story. So now what we are going to read, A Legend of the Northland. There are 16 stanzas and which are telling about a story. So we will come to know that what is the story. Okay, ballads are a part of a folk culture or popular culture and are passed on orally from one generation to the next. Okay, so it is just ballad which is just going on generation to generation. Like you are studying now, your new generation will come, then they will also study this story in a stanzas. Okay, so folk culture is a story of any area and is known as ballad. Folk culture comprises of traditional stories which are passed on from one generation to next generation. So this story is of the Northland area, the area which is near the North Pole. I'll show you the picture also that what is North Pole, and there are 2 poles on globe. You can see that South Pole and North Pole. Okay, so this is the story which is related to North Pole. Okay, this story is of the Northland area, the area which is near the North Pole. This exact place is not specified, but Northland means the area in the northernmost part of the earth, that is near the North Pole. Legend means a historical story, one which is very old and has been passed on from generation to generation. So actually, you know what, this is a story of a Northland, and now you can see here the picture also. This is a Northland, okay, North Pole, and the Northland we are talking about means near about this North Pole. Okay, and in this North Pole, what can you say here? Alaska, Russia, New Zealand. Okay, so many countries are here. Okay, so which are situated near the North Pole. Okay, so let's start with the first stanza. Okay, away in the Northland, where the hours of the day are few and the nights are so long in winter that they cannot sleep them through. So in the first stanza, the poet is describing about the people, the place which is near the North Pole. Okay, so here we are just reading about this North Pole, and there is a Northland, and where the days are very few. Why the days are very few? Because here this is the area, the sun rays just reach very few. So because of that, the days are very less. Means 24 hours are there in a day, but daytime is very less, but night time is very long, and it is too long that they cannot sleep through the night. Here day is related to that people who are living in that Northland. Okay, They refers to the people who are living in northland. Okay, so here the first stanza is describing about the people and the situation, the condition about the northland where the people were living, the people are living and how they are living. Okay, so here this is the story of a northland. This is the story of a northland where the days are very less. Like here 12 hours are there, but in those means in that area it is very less. It is very less. But here if we talk about in UP, in India, so it is equal, like 12 hours for night, 12 hours for day. But if we talk about northland, means here North Pole, so here the days are very less because of the sun rays. The sun rays has reached very less. So because of that only the days are very less, but the nights are so long, and it is too long. Because of that only the people of that area, they cannot sleep through the night. They cannot sleep through the night means hardly they can sleep 5 or 6 hours, but after 5 or 6 hours they can also get up and they can do here and there, and then again they sleep. Means throughout the night they cannot sleep. And in winter season, it is too long and the days are very short, very less. Like in our area also, now you can also guess, if we are sleeping in night, means winter season, so we just get up 2 or 3 times in a night. So this is the thing which happened in stanza number 1. Now see the stanza number 2, where they harness the swift reindeer to the sledges when it snows, and the children look like bears' cubs in their funny furry clothes. Now, what do you mean by this sledges? Sledges means a vehicle on runners for conveying loads or passengers over snow or ice, often pulled by draught animals. See, this is reindeers. Sorry, this is vehicles which is just carried on where? Ice. Okay, and these are the animals, reindeer. Reindeer, it is a kind of a animal which is just find where? Which is just find in northland. Okay, to harness means to tie the reindeers. Harness here, this, to tie the reindeers with a rope to a sledge so that it can be used for transportation. Means here you can see this, how it can carry, okay. Now swift means something which runs very fast. Now in second stanza, the poet P.B. Carey is describing about how they enjoy their people, how they enjoy. See, they just tie this vehicle and they just tie the reindeer also. This is a kind of animal. They just tie it with the vehicle and which carried where? On the ice, so that it just swiftly it is moved from there, and they just enjoy that moment. And where the ice is, only ice is you can find. So what will you do there? This thing means you can do there. Okay, means where they harness the swift reindeer to the sledges when it snows. Means here the poet is describing about when it snows over there. So what do the people do there? They just tie the reindeer with the vehicles, with the sledges, okay, and they just enjoy that moment. And what about the children? And the children look like bear's cub in the funny furry clothes. And now it is describing about a small children, how they were looking, means how do they look in that time, okay. Just like here also, when it is a winter season, so we just wear so many clothes and we just look like a bear also. So here also, now you can see this picture, how this children is looking, how this child is looking, okay. This child is looking like a bear because of its appearance, because of its physical appearance, because of its what? Clothes, dressing sense, okay. Now see the next stanza number 3. Stanza number 3, they tell them a curious story I don't believe it is true, and yet you may learn a lesson if I tell the tale to you. Curious means a strength. Okay, means here the poet is describing about they tell. Here they refers to parents of the children. Okay, they refers to parents of the children, and here they tell them a curious story. Means the parents of the children always used to tell the story of what? That area. But here the poet believes that, what believes? That I don't believe it is true. Means the poet said that he doesn't believe. He doesn't believe that what the story the parents of the children of that northland tell to their children, is it true or false. He doesn't believe. But yeah, and yet you may learn a lesson if I tell the tale to you. But here he believes that if the poet will tell you a story, definitely you will learn a lesson. Means this story is giving you a message, so that you can learn something from this poem. Okay, so let's see that what is the story. Okay, stanza number 4. Once when the good Saint Peter lived in the world below and walked about it preaching just as he did, you know. Here Saint Peter, now you can see the Saint Peter, an apostle of Christ, a disciple of follower of Jesus Christ. Preaching means to give a religious talk. Means we are now going to read about a story of Saint Peter. Saint Peter was a disciple of Jesus Christ. Okay, and this preaching means to give a religious talk. What is the work of Saint, you know very well. So here, once upon a time, at that time there was a Saint Peter, and you know very well that Saint Peter's work means any saint's work, that he used to go means everywhere to give a religious talk. So he was doing the same thing in that time. At that time he was doing the same thing. So he was just roaming the world and he was just giving the religious talk, you know very well. So what happened after that? He came to the door of cottage, and traveling round the earth, where a little woman was making cakes and baking them on the hearth. This is hearth. Okay, this is hearth, and hearth means fireplace where you do cooking. Means it is a fireplace where you can cook anything. Okay, so now once upon a time there was a Saint Peter, that you know very well that what he used to do, he used to roam the world and to give a religious talk. So he came to the door of a lady cottage, and where he found, what he found there, where he found that the lady was baking a cake on hearth. This is the hearth. Okay, where he found that lady was very little and she was just baking a cake. Then what he demanded, let's see in stanza number 6. And being faint with fasting, for the day was almost done, he asked her from her store of cakes to give him a single one. Faint means to be weak or famished. So in once upon a time, that you know that the good Saint Peter, who used to roam around the world to give a religious talk. So while he was roaming around the world on the earth, so he came to the little woman's house, cottage, and there what he found means he saw that the little woman was baking a cake, and you know very well that he was just moving around here and there, and he did not eat too much food. So because of that he was just going to be faint, means he did not eat too much food. So because of that only he became weak and he was going to famish. So because almost the day was over, So then he asked her, because he was very hungry. He was unable to walk from there. He was unable to take a step from that door. So he asked her, what did he ask? He asked her to give him a cake from the store where she had baked the cake, where she had kept the cake. So he demanded for a single cake so that he could eat and he could feel strong. But what happened after that? So she made a very little cake, but as it baking lay, she looked at it and thought it seemed too large to give away. When she was asked to give him a cake, so she decided to bake a little one, not a big one, a little one, and she made a very little cake. But when she was just baking lay on that hearth, there was a fireplace. So when she was baking, it became what? Bigger. It became big. So she could not depart from that cake. When she looked that cake, so she thought that it is too big to give him. So what she did after that? Therefore, she needed another and still a smaller one. But it looked, when she turned it over, as large as the first had done. Needed means to make dough from flour. Actually, the first time when she kneaded that dough, so it became, means when she went to bake it, so what she found? She found that it was bigger. She felt that it was big to give him. So because of that only, now she needed another one. She needed another one to bake. Actually, you know what she wanted to do? She wanted to give him a smaller one. So because of that only, she was doing this thing. This is very bad habit. It should not be happen. Let's see that what happened here. So therefore she needed another one and still a smaller one. Now next time she needed another one. First she tried, but it became big. So this time again she tried to make a smaller one. But what happened? But it looked, when she turned it over, as large as the first had done. But now when she baked it, so what she found? That it was also similar to that she had baked first one. Okay. Then she took a tiny scrap of dough and rolled it flat and baked it thin as a wafer. But she could not part with that. A scrap means a small amount. Means again she tried to make a smaller one. She just rolled so that she could make a wafer. Have you eaten wafer? So very smaller, very thinner, just like a chips you eat. Okay, so she was just rolling again and again so that she could make a very small, very thinner what? Cake. But what she found? And baked it thin as wafer, but she could not part with that. She made it, but she did not depart from that. She could not part from that wafer, part from that cake. Why she did not part from that? Because she said, my cakes that seem too small when I ate of them myself are yet too large to give away. So she put them on the shelf. Now, actually she did not depart. She did not depart because she said to herself, when she used to make for herself, it looks very small. But when she used to make for Saint Peter, it was looking very big. So because of that, she could not depart from that. And when she ate for herself, so it is looking very small, but when she used to give to Saint Peter, so it is too large to give away. So because of that only she did not depart from that, and she put that cake on the shelf. Okay, so today I have explained stanza number 1 to 10. In next video I will explain next stanza. Thank you so much.